Ninjago Dragons Rising has been on a generational run through its 3 epic seasons, packed with brand new characters, realms that we've never seen in the original series, as well as storylines that are shaking up the entire universe, not only for Ninjago, but Chima as well, in some seriously unexpected ways. You see, in Season 2, we were introduced to one of the coolest and most mysterious new powers yet, being Shatterspin. I believe that Shatterspin is way more important than it seems, and it might even be the key to bringing back one of Ninjago's greatest villains. What is going on, Dork Squad? Today we have a lot to talk about. While I am busy editing my breakdown and reviews for Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 1, there's an ongoing Ninjago and technically Chima storyline that I just can't stop thinking about. And, well, you guessed it, that is Shatterspin. If you haven't heard of Shatterspin outside the overpowered power system in the show, buckle in because there's a lot to break down for you. You see, a few years back, the Ninjago team dipped their toes into an extended canon for the first time, similar to something you'd see in Star Wars and the MCU with different comics and TV shows. And they did this with their first ever official comic series, which, not to brag or anything, but I've got a few copies right here, and a signed copy of the graphic novel. Not to brag or anything, though. I'm just pretty cool, I guess, you know. Nerd alert! What? And what the comic did was explore what happened to Garmadon between March of the Oni and his big appearance in the series finale. And before you ask, yes, the comic does slap, and I do recommend you read it. It's more Ninjago content, why would you not want to read it? Go check it out. After what I assume was a hit with the Garmadon comic series, the writer Tori Vaughn was greenlit to create a sequel series, but this time set way back in the past during the Serpentine War, with the comic set to dive into the origins of 5 warriors and the mysterious new power of Shatterspin. And guess what? It's already out, well, the first 2 issues anyways, and I don't have a physical copy for these ones because they were extremely hard to find, and it looks like we might not be getting the end of this comic series. As of right now, there are only 2 issues out, and the distributor of the comic did seem to shut down, but there does seem to be some hope for it with potentially a compendium coming in May. But still, I wanted to talk about this now because I just read the first issues for myself on iTunes, so I want to break down the issue for you guys. There is a ton of hidden lore and brand new information about not just Garmadon, but the Forbidden 5 and the power of Shatterspin. This might just connect to how Garmadon may or may not come back in the future of Dragons Rising. So Dork Squad, grab your gong, shatter those souls, and let's dive in to issues 1 and 2, and maybe the end of the Shatterspin comic. All these are altered for comic reasons, and I will not be covering the important moments that connect to the lore of Dragons Rising, and as well past Ninjago. There are some surprises left for you, but there is an picture of the story, and it all connects, and I bought this, and these images will be obtained via the iTunes store. I see what I'm showing right here. Our story kicks off with a young Garmadon wandering the harsh desert sands of Ninjago on a mission, searching for the elusive entrance of the Wyldness. The sun scorches above, the air is still until suddenly he's ambushed by a giant scorpion, but Garmadon, being the warrior he is, doesn't flinch in the slightest. In a flash of steel and fury, he slices off the creature's stinger and sends it scurrying, then delivers a cold warning that next time, he won't be so merciful. We then come back to presumably only a few days before, with a scene that us Ninjago fans should recognize by now. This, of course, being the scene where a young Garmadon and Chen part ways for the first time during, well, obviously the Serpentine Wars, because, I mean, that's where the whole comic takes place. What makes this version different is that it doesn't cut off with the stuff we've already seen, is it goes deeper into the lore. After desperately trying to persuade Garmadon to stay, Chen finally gives in and hands him a mysterious parting gift, leaving him with the words, "If you truly want to end this war, you will need the power of the Forbidden 5. And okay, I gotta pause here for a moment because this is exactly what I've been begging for as not just an OG Ninjago fan, but a Ninjago fan. The world of Ninjago is massive, and if you include Chima inside of that, how do you get more massive than massive? So I never understood why LEGO never hopped on these spin-offs a lot sooner, giving us shows and specials or even comics like this. I don't know why it took so long, because there is so much lore and so much story you can tell with old characters like Garmadon. I know me personally, I'm not much of a reader, but I would love to see the Spinjitzu Brothers either as a movie or animated series, because I really don't want to read those books, or even the Dark Island trilogy would have been so cool to adapt as like a TV movie. movie. I wish we had more of that, and I'm glad we're starting somewhere again with these comics. And not only having these comics add new and old lore or expand on old characters, but having them still be relevant to the main story in the show, no matter where we are, is also just a huge plus. We cut to a few hours later with Garmadon sneaking through the shadows until he comes face to face with his younger brother Wu. The two of them talk not as warriors, but as brothers, sons of the first Spinjitzu master. They reminisce, they mourn, and Garmadon promises that he will return with the power to end this war. Cutting back to the present, where Garmadon finally arrives at the temple. He steps forward and the floor beneath him begins to glow, shifting and moving until it reveals a hidden portal, the gateway to the Wyldness. Without a second thought, Garmadon leaps into the portal, and just like that, Garmadon is now in Chima. Okay, yeah, he's in the realm of the Wyldness, which is technically Chima. I'm never gonna get over that. While exploring the dense and mystical landscape around the portal, he unknowingly gives some poor kid an unprompt haircut, scaring the boy until he bolts off, and Garmadon doesn't even really notice, thinking it was just like a bush or something. Walking off, revealing this absolutely stunning panel of the Wyldness, and when I say stunning, I mean put this on a wall, frame that, because this is beautiful. And now listen, I don't want to be that guy who's always asking for crossovers and this and that and bringing these things up. With the Wyldness playing such a major role in the story of Ninjago in the extended and main universe, I can't help but want some Chima content, whether it's Laval and Kruger just walking by on screen, or even the Forever Rock somewhere up in the sky, or even a mention of Chi, or seeing a Chi orb in the black market somewhere. Please, I'm begging you. We cut to a group of 5 kids just hanging out. One of them turns out to be Asa, who, yes, is the kid that Garmadon almost just killed. Asa then goes on to re-explain the moment in hilarious detail, and pretty accurately if I do say so myself. Now, already I'm getting some crazy theories in my mind from the moment I saw that there were 5 of them on the page, but I'm gonna hold my nut job theories for the end of the video, so let's continue the breakdown. But do know that I did note that there were 5 of them. Keep that in mind. We cut back to Garmadon, now outside of the Shadow Dojo. Garmadon shows up demanding that he be let into the Shadow Dojo or be obliterated. Luckily for us, those gates open, because Ninjago would have been a completely different show otherwise. The gates open, revealing 2 legendary artifacts, the Gong of Shattering and the Mallet of Shattering. Garmadon doesn't hesitate, picking up the mallet and chucking it at the gong, and it sends him flying through the air. The kids still nearby spot this grown man just yeeting himself across the sky and take off chasing after him. Garmadon crash lands in the middle of a graveyard filled with ancient Wolf Clan statues. Yes, the same Wolf Clan that we see in Dragons Rising Season 2, and possibly 3, but probably not. As he regains his bearings, he begins to hear voices, whispers. The souls of the fallen warriors echo around him. They speak to him. "You have undone everything we sacrificed. You have condemned us to eternal oblivion." They demanded him to take the mallet far away and never let it fall into the hands of the unworthy again. Garmadon stands firm and declares that he is of dragon blood and the son of the first Spinjitzu master. If anyone is worthy, it should be him. The spirits are unamused. In fact, they even get angry and begin to mock him. They call out how they sense the Devourer's darkness still clinging to his fractured heart. They warn that this power will only deepen the rift in his divided soul that will cause him to destroy everything he loves. Then we are hit with what I can only assume to be an Attack on Titan reference. I mean, just look at the two side by side. The argument makes itself. But through these shards, we catch a glimpse of new characters, mysterious faces, and among them, 2 members of the Forbidden 5 being Noct and Rox, who we got to see in the 2nd season. Though the overload is too much, Garmadon stumbles, his vision blurs, and the weight of it all crushes over him like a tidal wave. But just before he blacks out, the spirits whisper one final message. "Your arrogance has put all the realms in danger, but there is strength in you, and through you, perhaps our great great clan may live again. Really making me question how much will this comic connect into what we see in Dragons Rising, and will Raz maybe even show up in this comic? I think that'd be really cool, but I don't want to get too crazy with theories. Shortly after, Garmadon collapses and the kids find him unconscious in the forest, the statues now mysteriously gone. They rush to his side trying to shake him awake, but before they can even figure out what's going on, a chilling roar cuts through the trees, and it's not just any creature. This is a creature known as the Lycan King. Fear hits them instantly. The kids run for their lives, dragging Garmadon's body with them, and in the scramble, Asa grabs the mallet. But here's the thing, he doesn't just grab it and go. He stares at it. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but this shot feels like it's foreshadowing something. I don't know exactly what it is, but it does give me foreshadowy vibes. I guess this is something where we'll just have to wait and see. But whatever it is, it just barely gets him killed, managing to just escape into the cave with the others. And instead of continuing to run, he decides to provoke the Lycan King. This is the definition of selling, honestly, causing the Lycan King to get angrier, slamming into the cave entrance, causing it to collapse, leaving them trapped inside the cave. Now awake, Garmadon grabs the mallet and tries to smash through the rock, but nothing happens, because it turns out that's not how it works. And just when it seems like things couldn't get any worse, a cold wind and a howl starts to begin. And that's where we learn how dangerous the Lycan King really is, as if anyone gets caught in its howl, they will immediately be turned to stone. Everyone starts panicking and Garmadon tries to think, searching for a way out. Then something strange happens. He starts talking to himself, except he's not really himself. He begins pointing out his own flaws, weaknesses, in a voice that's calm, colder, almost like someone else has taken him over. And just like that, we witness it, Shatterspin. And in my opinion, this is a huge deal. For some reason, his Shatterspin is blue here, and Shatterspin in this show is red. Now, this could be a comic error, or this could be something huge lore-wise, but one thing I do know is that the cost of using Shatterspin is heavy no matter who you are, and one could argue this might be the moment where we start to go from Garmadon to Lord Garmadon. Now, I'm not saying that this is what fully causes him to become evil. Obviously, we know that is from the Overlord and the Devourer, but maybe using Shatterspin here and however many times he's bound to use it in the rest of the comic at least speeds up the clock? I don't know. I leave it up to you guys. Let me know what you think. Does this have any effect on how Garmadon became so evil? Anyways, with the power of Shatterspin, Garmadon breaks them out, barely being able to escape the Lycan King's howl. And I mean barely, as they leap out of the way seconds in time. And we do see one tragic victim. Rest in peace, Mr. Deer. It's from there the group finally makes their grand escape, sailing off on a boat, safe for now. As they drift across the Sea of the Wyldness, the kids finally introduce themselves to being Ariel, Balin, Hobbit reference, Warby, Zuri, and of course, who we met earlier, Asa. Zuri steps up and declares that Garmadon is now their prisoner, and they will be taking him to someone hilariously named Mama Wama. Now, again, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you look at the spelling and you tell me. It's then we cut to outside Mama Wama's home, a humble, peaceful, honestly beautiful place in the land of the wildness with a cute little chicken. I wouldn't mind living here, retiring here at old age, and just reading Ninjago comics for the rest of my days. That sounds quite nice. The kids arrive with Garmadon, and after hearing what happened, especially the fact that Garmadon used Shatterspin, Mama Wama invites him inside, and this is where things get really juicy in the lore department.
Hey, this is Sam Vincent, voice of Lloyd Garmadon, the Green Ninja. I want to do a big shout out to Garmadork. Give Garmadork on YouTube a sub and check out his channel.
She begins telling the full story of the Forbidden Five. How long ago these 5 warriors ruled over the Wyldness, leading the Wolf Clan with unmatched strength. Their fighting style was so powerful that they could shatter the very essence of their enemies. Mama Wama explains that though the 5 entirely ruled the lands, nothing lasts forever. I am curious as to where in the timeline this takes place, if it's after the series finale or before or sometime during the series, as we never hear anything about Chi, and in Chima, obviously we never hear anything about the Forbidden Five. She says that though they are gone, their legacy still remains, and here's where it gets a little juicy. As long as you are an elemental master, you hold the potential to unlock Shatterspin, but for those who are unlucky and born without the elemental mastery, it doesn't work out so well. She tells a story of a once great warrior, a true believer in the legacy of the Five. He devoted his life to the clan's teaching, eventually leading to him being the leader of the clan after the Five were gone. But one day, a sorcerer named Lycan King came in with a dark idea. What if there could be a Forbidden Six? Manipulating him into thinking that was possible, and if anyone was worthy of such a title, wouldn't it be the man who devoted his entire life to the Five? So the warrior made the choice. He struck the gong of shattering, but with no elemental powers, he was left cursed. Instead of being gifted with Shatterspin, he was transformed into the very beast we saw earlier in the chapter, the Lycan King. And enslaved by Lycan King's magic, he was forced to turn his own clan to stone, forever trapped as a monster, and only few lived to survive. Well, now Garmadon is sitting in front of the last 5 descendants of the Wolf clan, and Mama Wama says that he will be their teacher. And that Dork Squad is where the comic currently ends off as of the recording of this video. Now, I said I would go into my thoughts on these 5 kids because I have a couple theories that I do want to bring up. Number 1, we have to note that there are 5 of these kids and 5 Forbidden Five members. I feel like that's a connection, as well as they are descendants of the Wolf clan. Maybe these kids will end up being vessels for the Forbidden Five at some point in the comic. That was like my crazy nutjob theory, but it didn't quite make sense, and I honestly don't know. There's something important with these kids, and I have a huge feeling that this comic is going to connect to the Forbidden Five's lore in Dragons Rising Season 2 and 3 in some major way. I just don't know how yet, and that is where I need your guys' help. Leave down below your best theories as to where this comic series is going, how it connects to the ending of the Serpentine War, and how this could connect to the rise of the Forbidden Five and the overall power of Shatterspin, and even the return of Garmadon. As we know, all the realms are merged, and these kids could very well still be out there. Whether they are now Wolf Clan warriors themselves or elemental masters somewhere out in the world, that remains to be seen. They weren't at the Tournament of Sources, so maybe they aren't even elemental masters. There's still so much we don't know, but there's still so much to discover within this comic. What is this blue Shatterspin? Is it a form of non-corrupt Shatterspin that doesn't shatter the soul, or is it just blue because they're in the realm of the Wyldness, and blue seems to be the color of powerful things in Chima? I'm really not sure what to make of a lot of this, but I do know that there is still so much cool lore that we discovered already. Like, for one, Chen knowing the Forbidden Five and being the one to send Garmadon into the Wyldness, and the fact that Garmadon is now in the Wyldness, meaning that the potential for him to run into any character from Chima, I did it again, but the potential is there. Please, just show me, like, the Forever Rock, at least, like, in the background. That's all I ask for. I leave it up to you guys. What are your theories? Let me know down below. Once again, thank you to my wonderful channel members for supporting the channel and videos just like this, as well as streams. Reminder, I am streaming every Friday at 7 p.m. playing LEGO Dimensions until we complete the story. Assumably, I did this stream yesterday when this video was up, so go check it out. Yesterday, we just streamed the big Ninjago stream and Ninjago missions. Go check that out. I've got to go work on my Dragons Rising Season 3 videos now, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't cry because it's over, but smile because it happened. I will see you, Dork Squad, in the next video. Peace out.